I just played through Halo 3 ODST and I did it on Legendary because it's crazy. Let's get into the campaign and see what it's worth. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe. The game begins with a text scroll that delivers the basics. Humanity is at war with the Covenant, we are losing, and the ODSTs are going to strike a carrier over New Mombasa. Wait, this takes place during Halo 2, so why is it called Halo 3 ODS? Oh, never mind. We're introduced to some guy who's sleeping on the job along with Mickey, Dutch, and Romeo. Buck and Dare enter as well, so Romeo gets turned on for reasons.
Dunno, Mickey. I wasn't looking at her gear.
Woof. It turns out that I'm the lazy guy who's sleeping on the job. Romeo smacks me awake because he's an asshole and we drop into New Mombasa. Dare pushes everyone off course for some reason, but we do so right when In Amber Clad follows Regret to Delta Halo. Therefore, our pods crash, everyone dies, and that's the end of the game. Oh wait. 6 hours later, I wake up in my pod, jump out, and grab a health pack. After I kill a ton of grunts and a few brutes, Why am I being called a heretic? I'm a human. I get some help from the AI superintendent who directs me through... Yeah, let's not talk about that. I find Dare's helmet, but we cut to Buck immediately after the drop. Why? Oh. It turns out that Buck and Dare used to date, and the sergeant is still a little irritated about it. Oh, the Covenant are here too. I take control of Buck and blast my way through a bunch of brutes, grunts, and jackals. There are some dead elites lying around, but the reason why is classified even though Buck should have top secret clearance. Whatever. I run past some hunters and brutes to Dare's drop pod. Once I clear out the grunts, I open her pod, and she's not there. Some weird balloony alien is, though, and it has Dare's helmet. Romeo blows the creature's head off. It explodes and flings the helmet away. Well, Romeo knows how to follow orders at least. It's time for more walking. I find a drone camera, so I flash back to Dutch 30 minutes after the drop. I help some Marines secure a Warthog and assist a bunch of others as I go. It's very easy to die because the gunners can't focus very well. However, I claim a ghost, wreck a bunch of turrets, and push up to a firefight filled with wraiths and choppers. I take a Warthog up the hill, but then I switch to a ghost and drive off of a giant cliff for some reason. Dutch is religious too, that might keep happening. Well, we need to go for a walk. I eventually find my way to a broken Gauss turret, so I flash back to Mickey 90 minutes after the drop. How did I do that? I have no idea.
Hey, where's the fight at?
Take a guess, genius.
On the plus side, I get to play Smash the Alien with a Scorpion tank. Just when I'm feeling happy about it, I have to get out and help Dutch wipe out a bunch of jackals. Somehow, I'm able to punch through a wraith's hull, but I'm just a human, so how could I do that? We clear out the rest of the Covenant and make it to the local Oni office. Never mind that, we have to keep walking. I come across a remote detonator, which makes me flash back to Dutch again. I fall back across the bridge with Mickey, blow it up, and conduct a fighting retreat. Wait, there are hunters ahead of us? Huh. I let one of them smack Mickey around as I shoot it, which makes the whole effort a lot easier. On the other hand, problems mount in the facility itself. Oh, come on, stay out of my line of fire. The firefight eats up almost all of my health, so I have to cautiously eliminate the rest of the brutes. Why? I have no idea. The building is set to blow. One elevator ride later, Mickey and I have to deal with a brute chieftain on the roof. An overcharged plasma pistol doesn't seem to work on the monkey, so Mickey's dead. Oh wait, he's fine. We board a police pelican and blow the building. It's time for some mongoose action. Kind of. Ugh. A little while later, I pick up a bent sniper rifle, which makes me flash back to Romeo. Dutch and Mickey get shot down by some banshees, so I help Buck wipe out a bunch of brutes, grunts, and jackals. A brute with a plasma cannon gives us some trouble, but Buck breaks his armor. We have to cross a bunch of beams to get to Mickey and Dutch. Thankfully, there are so many heavy weapons on the other side that the Phantoms and Banshees go down in no time at all. Suddenly, a brute chieftain kills Romeo. Oh wait, he's alive. How? Oh. For some reason, I tried to bend Romeo's sniper rifle back only to discard it for more driving. I wind up finding a can of biofoam. That makes me teleport into Buck for some reason.
He's got a punctured lung. Can't breathe.
Yeah, right. His lung should be smashed in, but I guess it isn't because plot. While the rest of the guys board a Phantom, I take a Banshee and escort them. We fight our way through Banshees, a ton of fuel rod cannons, and more of those balloony things from earlier. I have to open a few doors too, but that doesn't mean much. Oh great, another chieftain. Luckily, I take his helmet off and dispatch him soon after. Unfortunately, I have to deal with a Scarab. The giant tank destroys the first Banshee that I try to get to, but not the second. I can't attack the thing from the air, so I board it and gravity hammer its core. So smooth. Once I get back in my Banshee, I shoot a bunch of Covenant power structures, but I drop my Banshee in the water and board the Phantom. That seems dangerous, no? For some reason, Buck figures out that Dare is heading into the tunnels. He orders his team back into the city. Me after a night with your sister? Dare calls out for help, but I apparently can't talk. However, I can head on over to the data hive. Ooh, a fuel rod cannon. That'll be handy. I rappel down the elevator shaft to the vault itself. Dare is on sub-level 9, but I'm on level 7. I push down the tunnels and through some stations without using the cannon. You'll see why in a bit. Oh, there's another cop here. Huh. I drop down, cut through a bunch of drones, and wait, why are they ignoring the other guy? At the very least, the cop is a convenient distraction. Until I drop down to sub-level 9 and he dies. Great. I'm pinned down by a bunch of brutes. The distance lets me take them on in a piecemeal fashion. Kind of. And then I run into a chieftain with a turret. He goes down when I smash him with some fuel rods, and there are just enough to do that without dying. It's time for some flames. It smells like victory. I meet Dare, and she finally explains that we have to secure the superintendent's data. Unfortunately, the only way in is through a bunch of drones. It's rather easy to roast the Covenant in close quarters, but the open hive is another story. I run with Dare, and wait, how did she get all the way over there?
Is there a problem?
Yeah, you have teleportation powers. Where can I get those? These particular drones shoot very quickly, so I stay back a little bit and let Dare take some hits as we push through. There's another chieftain outside the vault. I take him and a big hairy friend down, and we head into the center itself. Oh, the balloony aliens that have been blowing up all game are slaves? Apparently, we need this one because he knows what the Covenant are looking for under the city. With that, Buck and the rest of the squad show up. Ah, energy shields. That'll definitely help. We all evac through the tunnels, but then Dare and Buck have a fight over the engineers.
You haven't killed any of them, have you?
No! Well, maybe one or two.
Nice work.
That is your fault for not briefing us, Captain. Anywho, we get to an elevator. Dare punches Buck because he abandoned the mission even though we weren't briefed on any of it. Then she kisses him just because. The engineer is as confused as I am. It's time for more street fighting. We force our way to an elevator that takes us to another hissy fit between Dare and Buck.
Eddie Buck, always thinking with his gun. You haven't changed one bit.
Me? What about you?
I'm sorry, who is running this op again? The engineer finds a ride, so we get some advice. Some really, really awkward advice.
Take my advice, rookie. You ever fall for a woman? Make sure she's got balls.
Yeah, we should just move on. The first two sections of the highway are easy enough because we just have to face infantry. Problems soon arise when we have to deal with drones. Whoa. Hanging back a little bit does the trick, so I do just that and grab a medical kit along the way. We soon run into a ton of ghosts, but that's a problem that I conquer on my first try. Second try. Third try. Finally! There's a Goshawk here too. Oh, come on! There are Banshees as well? At the very least, there's a tank. The Covenant ships are clearly digging for something. We continue the evac until a scarab wrecks the engineer's truck. That means that we have to get out and take cover. After a few waves and no shortage of deaths, we board the Phantom just as the Covenant try to glass the immediate area. Romeo is still injured though.
We went through hell for that?
Give him some meds, would you? It's important. It knows things.
Heck, honey. I wasn't talking about the alien.
I guess he has to take every opportunity to be a douche. 1 month later, Sergeant Major Johnson meets Dare. Apparently, he was given clearance, so he gets to talk to the engineer.
It has access to the Covenant battle net?
Limited, but yes.
Cortana and the other AIs can access the whole thing, so what was the point of this op? I guess it's to light a cigar? In all seriousness, this may be the worst game of the Bungie era. Why, you ask? Well, I think a huge chunk of the problem lies in the story. While the other games aren't perfect, they almost always have something to say in that abstract sci-fi way. This one hinges on the fact that Captain Dare and a bunch of other people are idiots. The ODSTs are supposed to be a sci-fi special ops unit, but no one trusts them with classified information. How are they supposed to do their jobs without that? The problems compound when we consider the gameplay. And no, I'm not just talking about the immersion break of hearing dialogue that should be aimed at the Arbiter. The game designers couldn't really figure out if you're supposed to be a Spartan or an ordinary human. On one hand, the player has a bit less health, can't jump as high, and won't melee as hard. On the other, it's possible to punch through metal and tear through entire swaths of Covenant by yourself. It's clear that ODST needed more time to cook. GG. I'll see you next time.